The first thing we need to do is take a good look in the mirror and categorize your payment card needs. Make sure you can do this in such a way that you can get the information clearly across to your potential processors or merchant service providers. This is important as this will dictate pricing, equipment, and services. Keep in mind that what you sell, to whom and how, will set the foundation of your price structure. This is known as the liability on the account and will dictate any additional costs. A quick example, retailer face-to-face would be low cost due to low risk and low liability. Moto accounts, mail order, telephone order would be higher costs and higher liability as you have person not present and card not present. Yet there is a little bit of interaction with the individual making the purchase. Then, of course, e-commerce is totally card not present and person not present with no interaction. Therefore, those costs are even higher as the liability has gotten higher. To dig a little bit into the retail side, retailer face-to-face merchant accounts are traditional accounts with equipment and most commonly used for retail businesses, groceries, department stores, things of that nature, where the transactions are processed in a face-to-face manner, also known as POS, point of sale. Traditional POS accounts generally have the lowest costs as the risk on a transaction is minimal. Here we're going to see the three-tier price structure, which is fundamental to a retail account. These accounts have 3 buckets: qualified rate, mid-qualified rate, non-qualified rate. It's important to understand that the qualified rate is the least expensive. Mid-qualified is more expensive, and non-qualified is even more expensive. This is based on the risk associated to the transaction based on the card type and how it is taken. So pricing is directly associated to risk. Additional risks could be card types such as personal versus rewards card, corporate card, world card, and the method of purchase and what is purchased. These scenarios do change as we get involved with corporate cards and rewards and additional transactions. Each of these additional cards and transaction types escalate the risk of the associated transaction cost, and therefore the fees are higher. Some cards, for example, are designed for more affluent cardholders, and these cards may cost merchants more because the consumers who use them tend to spend more and make larger purchases. Here is an example of a 3-tier price structure. The way to calculate the rate on this is you add your qualified rate plus your mid-qualified rate to get your total mid-qualified rate. Then again, you would add your qualified rate with your non-qualified rate to get your total non-qualified rate. So as you can see, outside of qualified rates, the mids and nons, the transaction can get quite expensive. Mail order and telephone order accounts. These accounts enable phone-based or direct mail order processing for consumers who can buy your product or service from the comfort of their own home. The price structure here is a 2-tier price structure. So it's very similar to the 3-tier structure, but there's only 2 buckets, a qualified and a non-qualified. There is no mid-qualified rate. And again, in this model, you're going to see that the qualified rate varies from the non-qual with rewards cards, corporate cards, the way the transaction was taken, and so on. In this example, to get the total non-qualified rate, you would add your qualified rate of 2.10 with your non-qualified rate of 1.50, giving you a rate of 3.60. If you're not familiar on how to do this, you can also call your processor and ask them to take you through and help you figure out your fees.